Hit it. Do you really wanna taste it? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's review of Peacemaker Season 1, the brand new DC show that came out on hbomax, starring John Cena as Christopher Smith, Peacemaker. Now, before we get started, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And check out some of my other videos. And yes, I'm wearing a Marvel shirt while reviewing a DC project. Who gives a fuck? First of all, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this is going to be a spoiler review. I'm not going to talk about everything in the show. I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite things in the show and potentially some problems that I had with the show. But I'm not going to be covering the entire thing. But this is a spoiler warning for you. So if you haven't seen the show, go watch it. So if you don't know, this show is a spin-off from the Suicide Squad movie that came out last year. You can check out my movie reaction to that on the channel. So that movie was also written and directed by James Gunn, and then after that, the rumor is that James Gunn, during the pandemic, wrote this 8-episode show here, which is like really cool. You know, some people dealt with the pandemic in their own ways, and he was like, let me bang out this like show real quick. Let me bang out this 8-episode thing real quick and see if it gets made. And then HBO or Warner Brothers looked at it and they were like, this is potentially really good. Let's make it. And I gotta say, first of all, really enjoyed this show. This show really surprised me because I really didn't know what to expect from it. I did one trailer reaction to this show. It's on the channel. I believe it was the DC fandom event that happened a few months ago when they released the very first trailer for this show. And I did one trailer reaction, and that was basically the only trailer that I actually watched. I didn't watch any trailers off video or anything. So I went into the show somewhat blind because as far as I remember, that first trailer actually didn't give much away of what was happening. I walked into the show knowing that like, okay, it's Peacemaker, like he's going to kill people and he's going to get hired to be like a mercenary of some kind. But I had no idea that we were dealing with aliens here. I didn't know that their mission was to stop a bunch of aliens. I just thought that it was going to be John Cena and he's like a mercenary and he's going to be assassinating people. And yes, he kills a lot of people and a lot of aliens. But the whole alien concept, I just gotta say, walking into it, I had no idea that was happening. And that was such a big and welcome surprise in the first episode. I think at this point, like the mainstream audience kind of knows what James Gunn's all about. I mean, he has the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. The first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies are really funny, filled with great soundtracks. So that's kind of the things that you can expect from James Gunn when it comes to these superhero projects. You can expect that kind of style, and he definitely brings that Guardians of the Galaxy humor and soundtracks that he does. Well, he doesn't do them. He finds the soundtracks and he puts together a really good playlist. And James Gunn, like I said, brings that humor that he does for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and the soundtracks, and he makes this show really fun. However, I think sometimes he can get lost in his own kind of joke writing because sometimes it can get very rough. I would say it took me a hot second to get into the show. The first 2 episodes were just okay. I'd say maybe around the end of episode 3 and especially episode 4. Episode 4 is one of my favorite episodes. That's when I really got into the show. But I'd say the first 3 episodes were kind of a rough start. And I think throughout this entire show, James Gunn, we all know, very funny guy. He can write a really funny script and, you know, comedy and all of that. That's his specialty. But sometimes he can do too much, and sometimes it can just be very rough to watch. There are times where there are comedy bits happening in the show and they're just not landing, but they keep going. There are comedy bits in the show that just go on for way too long sometimes, and unfortunately they're not funny and they become very cringeworthy and rough to watch sometimes. I don't know, obviously I'm not James Gunn himself, but I feel like when it came to writing this show, it feels like he wrote this stuff and then didn't go back and revise. Obviously he went and revised everything. Yes, that's how these things work. But sometimes it feels like he wrote a joke down that's not particularly funny and then just never went back to revise it and just kind of shot it how it is from his first draft. So there are some like really unfunny and annoying bits in this show sometimes. And once again, I'm not saying that James Gunn is like not funny. He's hilarious. He can write really, really good comedy. We saw that in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But I actually think this is a problem. Like too many jokes and jokes that go on for way too long is a problem that he ran into with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, very funny movie. Just like Peacemaker, very funny. But then there are some bits that go on for way too long and are just not funny and are not landing but keep going. There are a lot of bits in the show that are super funny and really got me laughing in this show. And I absolutely love them. But one of my biggest problems with this show is that sometimes it feels like we're prioritizing like way too much comedy over like an actually free-flowing story that feels like it's flowing very well. But I would say in season 2, what I really would like to see is potentially we are at like a 13 right now in terms of where the comedy level's at. Let's like turn that down maybe 2 or 3 notches a little bit. Gotta say, John Cena himself is absolutely fantastic in the show. I think a lot of people, when they heard that John Cena was cast in the Suicide Squad movie, kind of had themselves a chuckle, you know, because I don't remember a last project like outside of the Suicide Squad that I've seen John Cena act in. It was Bumblebee. I'm editing right now and I literally just remembered that it was Bumblebee. It was actually Fast 9. You fucking idiot. Fast 9. He played Dom Toretto's brother. And then when I saw him in the Suicide Squad last year, and I think when a lot of people saw him in the Suicide Squad last year, they agreed that he was really, really good. And then obviously his show got greenlit, the spin-off, and it became really interesting, at least to me, to find out like, why him? Why out of every character in that show, why do we go with him? And this show demonstrates why we picked Peacemaker, because Peacemaker is a very damaged character from the relationships that he builds with his own team, with his own friends, and the relationship that he has with his father, and his father turning Peacemaker into this soldier, into this murderer, and his past. So Peacemaker himself is a very damaged character, and through the writing and John Cena's performance, they played that very, very well through the 8 episodes, and they developed that very, very well. Yes, he's really funny. He's like an idiot. He'll give you a lot of good laughs and kills and all of that. But some of the more surprising moments out of this entire show and John Cena's performance is the dramatic moments, because those are the moments that really showed that John Cena, yes, John Cena, has really good acting chops and has really good range. And what I would really like to see in season 2 is for us to give him more dramatic moments and a bit less comedy. And in general, just the entire show, I would like to see a little bit less comedy and a bit more like just heavy drama. I would love that, because those were the moments in the show that like really stood out to me, because they were so different from like,
here's laughs, fart jokes, whatever, penis, dick, you know what I mean?
And somewhere in the middle of all of that, John Cena shoots his dad in the head and has this like really emotional moment with himself and with Eagly. By the way, I'm not going to talk about it much, but Eagly, great stuff. Just great stuff. You know, more Eagly in season 2. Let's get it. Peacemaker was great. However, I would say the MVP of the show for me, and one of the best new characters for me, is played by Freddie Stroma, and that is Adrian / Vigilante. Let's go, man. Vigilante was amazing in this show. Really, really loved him, especially in the early episodes. Episode 4 I mentioned was probably my favorite episode out of this whole show, besides the final. The final was just great. But episode 4 was really, really good. And we all know that prison scene where he goes and talks to Peacemaker's dad and Peacemaker's racist friends, and he tears them a new asshole, basically. That was a really, really good scene. And Freddie Stroma played this character so well. There's a lot of resemblance to kind of Deadpool here. He's a bit more idiotic than Deadpool. And again, I think his character, and actually a lot of characters in the show, suffer from that thing that I said earlier, where like just too many jokes, you know? There's times where I would like him to be serious, and I understand he's this guy that can't connect to people, and it is very awkward for him sometimes. But I would like it to be just a little bit more serious sometimes, because sometimes, especially in the last couple of episodes, he just opens his mouth and says something really stupid, and you're left there wondering, Why? Why was that actually needed to be said at all? That didn't add anything. Why? And I would definitely love to see us explore him more in season 2, now that we got a season 2, and we explored Peacemaker, and we'll continue to explore his character in season 2. But now, since we got this introduction to this team, we can start delving into some of these characters more, like Vigilante, because we were introduced to him and we know some things about him. Like, we know he has a brother, and there's like this weird thing between his family. I don't know, but that's definitely something that we can dive into season 2 and find out why he is the way that he is. You know, Peacemaker, very damaged guy, you know, super fucked up guy. Vigilante, kind of the same thing. That's why they're like kind of best friends. They're really close friends. They're best friends. We're gonna call them best friends. They're best friends. But yeah, I would really love us to explore his character more in season 2. And one of the other new characters out of the team that I really liked was Myrn. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the actor's name because I'm gonna butcher it. Fun fact for you, James Gunn liked him so much in the show, liked his performance so much in the show, that he cast him in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So whenever Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, we're going to see the actor that plays Myrn in that movie. So that's going to be pretty cool for him. And obviously there was that big plot twist that he is a butterfly. And he had a really great moment with Adebayo where he explains to her his own mission as the butterfly, but also because butterflies take over people, and you know how the body that he took over, Myrn, whoever Myrn was, how he was like a terrible person. And that's like one of the scenes that I looked at and I was like, wow, this guy is a really good actor, and I'm super excited to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He was also a big standout for me. The other 2 characters that I haven't really talked about that were also great is Jeniffer Holland's Harcourt. And Jeniffer Holland and James Gunn actually, like 2 days ago, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, got engaged. So congratulations to them on that. But yeah, Jeniffer Holland as Harcourt was really great. She kind of did the same thing as Myrn. Like, she was the very serious character out of the whole group. She was like really annoyed by everybody. She had a really good development throughout this entire season where she was hating the team and hated being part of the team at first. But then throughout the season, really gradually turned to just love the team and love being part of the team. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to see, and that was really fun. And I loved the little small moment, but it felt like a very real moment when she started a group chat after their first successful mission, like all of them together. That just felt like such like a real thing. Looking forward to seeing more of her in season 2, because now she actually likes being part of the team, and there's a potential romance being built between her and Peacemaker. It wasn't like really explored in this show. It was like kind of hinted at, or at least in this season. But again, slowly they're building this relationship very slowly, that I guess maybe we'll go like fully for it in season 2. So we'll see where that goes. He was also great. They had that joke. You know, I've questioned James Gunn's comedy bits and how he uses them so far in his writing in this show. But one of the best ways he used it was the whole dye beard joke, where Peacemaker kept on making fun of John Economos's dyed beard, right? And then it came right back full circle in the final episode where he had that like kind of emotional moment about his own insecurity, and it kind of hit Peacemaker that he was like, damn, I was being a dick to this guy about it, and I was actually really hurting him. And it helped grow Peacemaker. It helped us understand John Economos more. So that's like the kind of comedy bit that was like written very well and played out very well throughout the entire season. Adebayo, played by Daniela Brooks. By the way, Daniela Brooks, I haven't seen her in anything since what's that show called? Orange is the New Black. Remember way back when Orange is the New Black was the biggest thing in streaming and the biggest thing on Netflix? Man, that feels like so long ago. Orange is the New Black. Remember when I said in the beginning that those first 2-3 episodes were kind of rough in terms of jokes landing and stuff like that? She was a very big part of that. There is a lot of jokes throughout actually this entire show that just don't land with her. And I don't know whether it's Daniel Brooks's acting. I don't think it is, because I actually thought in general she was pretty good. I would like to see her in season 2. But right now in season 1, she was by far my least favorite member of the team. I think it's the writing. I think James Gunn tried to play her off as like this kind of awkward, and she's nervous to be part of the team. I mean, rightfully so, she's nervous to be part of the team. There's a whole story with her that she kept on saying she's not made for this life, she's not made for this life, and then at the end she was like, I'm made for this life, and then she went and like killed a bunch of people and stuff like that. But I'd say for majority of it, her awkward humor just did not work for me. I mean, she's really nice, you know, she's a really good person to have around the team, to have around Peacemaker, and her storyline with her wife was very forgettable. I did not care about her wife. I did not care if her wife died or anything happened to her wife. Just didn't. But I would say again, throughout the season, she got better, but then at the end, it never fully kind of landed for me with that character. So I would like to see her again in season 2. I'm not saying that I like hated her, but definitely my least favorite character out of the team. But she had the funniest bit in the entire show, which was the human torpedo. That was so funny. When I tell you I died laughing the first time she yelled, "Human torpedo!" And she fucking turned into the human torpedo and flew and hit the wall. I died laughing. And the second time, when Peacemaker activates it and the camera switches to her and it's like, oh shit, and she's just barely getting up, and then she turns into the human torpedo and flies into the alien, into the cow. So funny. Again, my least favorite character, and a lot of stuff for her did not land with me, but that was the funniest bit. She had the funniest bit with the human torpedo, man. So there's that. Actually, there was a really good scene in, again, episode 4, really good episode, where she manipulates Vigilante into going into prison to kill Peacemaker's dad. And that manipulation was kind of Amanda Waller, right? So for a second there, you looked at her and you were like, wait, hold on. You're kind of like your mom. You're kind of like Amanda Waller. So I think that worked really well right there for a second. And then that kind of thing wasn't visited for like a very long time. One of the other characters I want to talk about is Robert Patrick's character. He played Peacemaker's dad. And what I really liked about his character, I mean, there isn't much to like about his character, but what I really liked about his character is that writing-wise, they didn't hold back on it at all. They were like, he's a piece of shit. He's one of the worst human beings ever. And we are going to fully go for it because we have the R rating. We can curse. We can say whatever the fuck we want. So we are not holding back for it. And Robert Patrick gave, I thought, a really, really good performance because he was terrifying. And I'm happy that they're keeping him around for season 2 as like a ghost. He's not going to be able to interact with anybody else, but he's going to be haunting Peacemaker, which I think is a really, really good place to take season 2. Because I actually, it just hit me that throughout this show, we saw that clip of Peacemaker killing Rick Flag. Oof, it hurts every time. It hurts every time. But we saw that clip multiple times because that kill right there really haunts Peacemaker. So obviously him killing his dad will haunt him even more. So I think it's a really clever way to keep Robert Patrick around. And I think there's a lot of great things you can do with that dynamic in the future of Peacemaker just losing his mind because the ghost of his dad is haunting him. I think that's a really, really good direction to take season 2 into, and I'm really excited about that. Oh, and a quick shout out to Judo Master. Didn't do like much in this season. Like, was really cool with the limited amount of time that he had, but maybe he'll have a much bigger role in season 2. So shout out to you, Judo Master, for still hanging around, even though you were shot and hit by a car and hit in the head, but somehow you're still alive, so good on you. I hope you're somewhere right now enjoying your flaming hot Cheetos, bro. Outside of writing, James Gunn, I think, directed some of the episodes. I noticed in one of the episodes there was a different director titled, but I'm pretty sure he directed the majority of the episodes, and I gotta say, there was really, really good camera work in this show, really good cinematography. Visual effects were on point. Yes, Eagly at sometimes looked a little janky, but it's okay. It's okay, whatever. But it was really good choreography and really good camera work in the show. Specifically, my favorite sequence in this entire show was in the last episode, the final shootout. Vigilante, hardcore, Peacemaker taking out like an army of zombies. And then Adebayo got into a little bit of action. She had a little bit of, cool things going on there with her as well. But that entire shootout, the choreography, shout out to the stunt team, was really well done. The way Peacemaker was using his shield. There was a really cool shot where, like, the shield's, like, in the air and then he timed it and shot it into the guy. Like, what? Sick. Just sick. Amazing stuff. And hey, it's a good sign because he's returning for season 2, and apparently he's going to write. Obviously, he's going to write. He wrote every episode for this season, but he's going to write every episode for the second season, and apparently he's going to direct every episode for the second season. So after Guardians of the Galaxy 3, after he's done with that, he's got a busy time now on his hands. My dumbass somehow forgot to talk about this when recording, but that Justice League cameo was so dope. There was something so cool about hearing Aquaman drop a few F-bombs. Just in general, really dope. Really dope surprise that I don't think anybody expected going into the episode. Super sick. I'm actually really excited to see season 2 now, to see what they're going to cook up for it, because the butterflies are done. Like, what's going to be the team's next mission? What's going to be the next mission that's going to get everybody together? And is Amanda Waller going to be in season 2 more? Is she going to be more prominent in season 2? Because the way season 1 ended, Adebayo exposed the whole, program that Amanda Waller had going on, the Suicide Squad thing. So maybe Amanda Waller, more of her in season 2. That would be very interesting. That was my review for Peacemaker season 1. Let me know down in the comments, what did you think about Peacemaker season 1? Let me know down in the comments. Tell me, what was your favorite comedy bit in this entire season? There's a lot to pick from, so let me know, what's your favorite? And yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.